Hello everyone. So today is the day I want to change the thermal paste on my old laptop Acer. I think this is an Acer Aspire 5738. This is from 2009. And I wanted to take the opportunity to not only change the thermal paste, but also change the thermal paths that are on the video memory of the graphic card and on the coils. So I bought these thermal pads on AliExpress that hopefully is gonna be great for that application. They're tiny squares, and I also bought this GD-2. This is like a high-end premium quality of the well-known. Can you focus, please? Yeah, it's very bad at focusing the smartphone, but yeah, this is like a premium of the GD900 that's very popular on AliExpress. This one is the better one, GD2. It's like 7.2 watts. The GD900 is 4.8. Yeah. So yeah, if you care about the quality of the thermal paste, you should go for a GD2, or even for going for a very well-known brand like Arctic, of course. But this one is cheap and I don't care too much. I usually change the thermal paste every 6 months or a year. So yeah, you can just use this one if you want to change the thermal paste every once in a while. If you forget about it, then always use Arctic MX4 or any good brand that is for those applications. But yeah, I'm gonna check the sensors to see the temperature. So yeah, this case normal operation for the CPU idle mode is for about 30 degrees Celsius. Yeah, I'm not sure about the other temperature. I think is for the battery, if I'm not mistaken. You can let me know in the comments what ACPI 0 stands for. I think it's a battery, but I'm not quite sure. But nah, the core 0, core 1 ICE adapter, that one is for the CPU. I changed the thermal paste not long ago, so if I want to notice some difference, that will be only the differences between the lower quality thermal paste, like I think I use GD900, if I'm not mistaken, but I also use this one. This is NPLAY. This has a thermal conductivity of 5.6 watts per MK. I don't remember what that means, but yeah, the higher the number, the better. But I check on Gemini, and basically told me that the Dispel 4.0 has a thermal conductivity of 4, not 5.6. So I'm not sure if this is a lie. This could be a lie. I'm not sure about that, because according to Gemini, the Dispel 4.0 stands for 4 watts, not 5.6. So I'm not sure about this one. It works great. As you can see, nothing bad's going on so far. As you can see, now that I'm installing some programs like a benchmark I wanted to try, the temperature already raised to 45 degrees Celsius. That's pretty much normal. Nothing to worry about. So yeah, let's see what happens with the new thermal paste. So far so good. The old one, the NPLAY Dispel 4.0 is okay. It's not like that bad. Yeah, it's okay. Let's see about the benchmark, just to compare as well. Okay, so now I'm running GTK stress testing to stress test whatever the hardware is. I believe it's on working with the CPU exclusively. I'm not sure if this actually stress the GPU as well, but yeah, I can see here I'm doing the CPU all methods, and the temperature right now is 52 degrees Celsius. As you can see, I'm really stressing the hardware just to notice what is the maximum temperature for this thermal paste that is already installed. Later we will do a check for the new one. So yeah, more or less after 1 minute or 2 minutes, temperature is around 53, 55 more or less. Okay. Okay, unfortunately, I don't have like a nice tripod for me to use, so you can see more, but I guess more or less you can see a little bit. So disassemble this is gonna take a while, unfortunately, but yeah, let's try it, because this laptop is very complicated to do it, and in order to change the thermal paste, I need to fully remove the whole motherboard. Yeah, these models from 2009 are very complicated. Yeah, that's for sure. But yeah, let's try to do it quickly, because yeah, it's a little nightmare, that's for sure. So let's remove all the screws. I wish I had like a electric screwdriver but yeah, whatever, let's do it fast. But yeah, this is gonna take a while. I was thinking about just cutting this part, but yeah, whatever. So you can see how I do the disassembling of this laptop. It's not easy. It's the most complicated laptop I have. Yeah, very complicated from my point of view. I'm so glad that Acer and other manufacturers changed their mind and made things more accessible later on. Yeah, but you will see how complicated it is. At this point, I can't just disassemble and assemble the laptop with my eye closed. I can just close my eyes, really, because I have done this a million times with this one. But the first time was very tricky, a whole nightmare. I had to, because I wasn't sure how to open it, from which direction is the opening. It's very difficult to see the first time if you don't have any experience, of course, and then things become more normal, you know. Okay, I'll use this. Okay, and unfortunately, in order to disassemble this, I also have to separate the screen. But let's remove the keyboard. I'm not being careful because this is my laptop, but if it was someone else's laptop, I could be very gentle, but I know it's not gonna be any problem. Yeah. Okay, something I need to do is this thermal paste that I put here, because I didn't have any yeah, I didn't have anything to put there, but I've done some research, and apparently, let me see if this is recording well. Yeah, apparently there is no need to put thermal paste there, because yeah, uh, actually it might get worse with the thermal paste on these chips because they are like low performance operation in comparison with the CPU. So if you put thermal paste on top, it might get warmer just because they are not metal, but um, the black thin material. And you should only use a thermal pad instead of thermal paste. Never put thermal paste on a black chip. Yeah, let me clean this first from this perspective before disassemble the whole thing. Let me see if I have some. Okay, and I have alcohol. Isopropyl. Yeah, isopropyl alcohol is good for this. Let's remove all this thing. It's gonna take a while because I put a lot. But yeah, there is no need to put anything here. You can put thermal pads. Maybe I will put something here, but I think the thermal pads I have, they're too thick. And I think the thickness between the keyboard and this, and I believe the keyboard design is metal, but there is a problem. You can see the problem here. Yeah, the chip is here. The chip gets warm, really warm, and if something goes wrong, can you see? Okay, if something goes wrong here, because you can see this square is already black because the chip gets really warm. If something goes wrong, it can destroy the ribbon cable of the keyboard. Yeah, what a design. It doesn't make any sense. How is that they decide to put the ribbon keyboard, the ribbon cable of the keyboard, sorry, literally on top of the chip? Yeah, makes no sense, but okay. I'm so glad I never had any problem, but I can see the design flaw there. That's for sure. This is gonna take a while, but I would rather have this clean because it makes no sense to have thermal paste here. It's not gonna do anything at all. You shouldn't do it. This was an experiment, of course, but some things can go wrong. It can gets really warm for no reason with the thermal paste because it creates some kind of suffocation. Okay, it's getting cleaner. And I'm doing this with the battery disconnected, of course, and the power supply disconnected. There is no power flowing through this or any part of the laptop, exception for the 3 volts battery for the BIOS, but that is not a big deal. This should be clean. Maybe I can put 4 squares, maybe 4. Yeah, but I see they're too thick. Not sure if I want to do it. Yeah, I don't think it's a problem, but I remember I turned on the laptop and I checked the temperature of this chip. It was really warm, but that doesn't mean it's a problem for the laptop itself design, but just for my finger. I got a little scared, so I put thermal paste here, but then later on I did the research and it was like, no, you shouldn't do it. Yeah, I think it's perfectly clean. Let me do this, remove the rest of isopropyl alcohol. Yeah, perfect. Let's remove the cables, ribbon cables. This one I disconnected the speakers because they're broken anyways. Yeah, now I have to pull these cables, the Wi-Fi cables. Okay. Come on. Okay. And I have to remove them from the track. I believe it is recording. Okay. This one is out and I have to remove the screen connector. This is the tricky part because it's located in a very difficult area. Yeah. And that's it. Everything is out and disconnected. Let's remove the screen. Okay. And okay. Let's do this. It's out. Yeah. Let's put it somewhere. Okay, and now we can separate the frame. Yeah, I think we can do it. I believe it's easy to remove. Okay, there's 3 screws here. Let's not forget about this. Yeah, let's not forget about this. And that's it. And I believe yeah, that's it. The frame is out. Okay, now in order to remove the motherboard, I have to remove 1 screw, but I have to also remove this board because I had to fix this and do like a real surgical procedure in order to fix the connector. So they are like glue now, but at least it's working. The USB, this is like a USB connector. Let's remove it and do it all together. That's it. And let's remove the only screw holding the motherboard. And now we have to lift it. It's not moving. Wow, something is. Let me do like a investigation. Let me see if everything is out. Everything is out, right? Why is not lifting? That's weird. Okay, let me see again. Yeah, this is unusual. There is no more screws. So what's the problem now? Okay. It should basically lift. This is 1 screw. Yeah, I don't want to use any force because it should lift right away. Maybe something. Yeah, I'm not sure what is going on. Ah, okay. I see the problem. Yeah. I see the problem. Yeah. Okay. That's it. There. Yeah, there is tape over here to isolate one part from the other because the isolation paper that was here I remove it. Then I realize, okay, the motherboard is exposed in this area where I changed the hard drive. So I put some black tape. Now I remember that's why it wasn't lifting. Okay, that one is out, and you can see the whole motherboard. Okay, everything is in good condition. And there is another chip that I put a thermal paste on, and that's a waste of time. Yeah, and there is no need for that. That's for sure. It's waste of time and money, really, and that shouldn't be there. You might think, oh, it's gonna be great, but that shouldn't be there. So let's do things the right way. Honestly, I would rather respect the original design of a laptop, unless it's something obvious. You shouldn't put extra thermal pads. The reason is because the thickness of the thermal pad might interfere with the thickness and of the laptop frame, and by putting one extra millimeter might create a new problem where you are basically punching the motherboard extra 1 millimeter down or up after you assemble everything and you put the screws on. You don't notice anything, but after a period of time it might bend the motherboard, and you don't want that because it can actually crack all the soldering points of the components, and you don't want that to happen, really. So yeah, I would rather not put any extra thermal pads that might interfere with the original design. Yeah, sometimes the manufacturers, they make mistakes, of course, but you have to think about the space you have for that. Yeah, this is out, and yeah, you can see how complicated the design is. In order to change the thermal paste, you have to remove the whole motherboard. Yeah. Okay, so let's do it. And here there are parts where I have to put extra thermal pads. The rest is all normal. Let's remove this. Yeah, the fan is out, and these are like a 1, 2. They have a numerical order, but it's not complicated at all. 3, 4. Let me remove this from here. Maybe you were like 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I think it's already out. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. This one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 points of contact. I'm not sure if this coil, yeah, that coil is out. Okay, this coil needs thermal pads. These two video memory chips needs thermal pads, and I believe this one is the chipset. I'm quite not sure, but this one I believe is the graphics card, because the two memory chips are next to it, and this one that is far beyond, that actually makes contact with the aluminum instead of copper, is the chipset. and the copper are the ones making contact with the CPU and the GPU. I hope you are seeing it right. So yeah, I'm gonna put the thermal pad on the chipset instead of thermal paste, obviously. That's the normal procedure, I believe. And yeah, let's clean it, everything. Let's start cleaning, because yeah, what I did was okay, but not okay at the same time. Actually, yeah, this one, for example, the chipset has so many capacitors around. If for any reason the thermal paste is has some conductivity, you can make a short of any kind. Some thermal pastes they have a certain conductivity, more or less, even though they are designed for isolation, while they are conducting the heat from one side to another, of course, but they might have a minimum of conductivity enough to damage a capacitor. So yeah, that can happen. It's not at the level of liquid metal, of course, but yeah, I think I was lucky and nothing happened. But yeah, this looks really messy. I feel bad for not buying the thermal pads in time. Now everything should work much better, I believe. Also because the new thermal paste has better thermal conductivity. Okay. One thing is electrical conductivity, the other thing is thermal conductivity. They're not the same, but sometimes they promise you isolation and high thermal conductivity, but at the same time, if you create a mess all over, the capacitors might affect somehow. So yeah, never put thermal paste on a chipset. They don't really need anything, really. But this one was designed with the thermal pad. This heatsink is very high quality. It's not terrible, but in comparison with the new laptops that only have one to the CPU or the GPU, but never for the other areas, unless it's a gaming laptop. This one is a basic laptop and it has all these points. It's not that bad. It's very good, I could say. I've seen worse. For example, my brand new, newer laptop, it only has one point of contact with the CPU. It's very simple. Let me find more cotton tips. And let's clean the video memory as well. Oh, it looks terrible. Yeah, it's a bad decision. This was a bad decision. I was in a rush. I wanted to change the thermal paste, and I saw the old thermal pads all destroyed, and I was like, what do I do? Yeah, I should have just let the old thermal pads there, and that's it, and forget about it. Yeah. What I'm doing is very messy, but hopefully it's gonna solve the problem. Yeah, there is a lot of thermal paste between the capacitors, and it's gonna be difficult to clean. I wish I had a microscope. Yeah, it's gonna be complicated. I might do some cuts, but yeah. And cleaning the thermal paste from a black chip surface is not that easy. Really complicated in comparison with metal die. The metal die is designed for that and is easy to clean, but not the black surface. Yeah, it's gonna take a while to clean. Also because if you do some, if you press and grab with the cotton tip, you can't remove a capacitor by accident, a micro capacitor or something, or a diode or something that tiny, and really make a mess. Okay. Well, I'm wasting a lot of cotton tips with this one because I'm so glad that I'm using only integrated graphic cards in my newer laptop, because yeah, I don't want to deal with all of this. It's cheaper to maintain. They're usually okay in performance for me at least, and I don't need an extra graphic cards, because sometimes you deal with whatever issue the video graphic cards has, because the motherboard is overpopulated with components that might fail. So that's why I prefer integrated only, because the motherboards are much simple. They only have the components for the CPU, and that's it. It's not that overpopulated in comparison with the gaming motherboard that has so many coils, so many MOSFETs, so many components. The new generations, they have so many video memory chips, like 4 or 6 or whatever. This one only has 2, which is not that terrible. And I barely see coils over here. This motherboard, it has 2 coils for the RAM, 1 coil for the video memory RAM, 2 coils for the CPU. By the way, it's a removable CPU. I can upgrade the CPU if I wanted to, and you don't see that anymore. Yeah, 1 coil for the main power rail here, and that's it. Very simple, very simple. Yeah, wow. Yeah, the modern laptops, they have more coils, I think, especially the gaming ones. They need a lot of them. Yeah, I think it's 1 coil, one MOSFET, and then one video memory chip, and then they're like 4 or 6 depending on the model. It's kind of, that's why I don't want gaming laptops. This one is an old generation, and it was a basic one. I don't think it was advertised as a gaming one. No, I don't think so, because it was cheap, and the design is just as a working laptop with graphic cards. Yeah, so let's see. Maybe this video is gonna be boring. Maybe. I don't care. I think it's educational purposes. I don't mind watching a long video, really. That depends on you guys, but yeah. I hate this chair because it's so noisy. It's like, yeah, whatever. Maybe, hopefully you are seeing everything, the process. I know the lighting conditions aren't great, but okay, whatever. I'm just recording this video for documentation, but not for the sake of making a professional video. I don't care about professionalism with my current YouTube channel. I really don't care. So don't mind this, please. Okay, this one is clean, more or less. I have to double clean the video memory chips. But yeah, you can see all the cleaning I'm doing is more expensive because I use thermal paste where I shouldn't use thermal paste. So everything gets more expensive. So I have a huge regret for doing that. Okay, always buy the thermal pads besides the thermal paste. Always. Thermal pads on black chips or any chip that has a low performance operation like chipsets, other kind of chips that are hot but not that hot. You use thermal pads on those ones, and then the CPU and graphic card only for those thermal paste. But I was in a rush and I wanted to try and practice, but the wrong way. Okay, more or less it's clean. It's not perfect. Okay, let's clean a little more the coils. So many cotton tips. I don't want to use a towel or something like a paper towel. Yeah, those are bad for this because you can scratch all the components and you don't want that. You want high precision. Yeah, this is terrible. Yeah, it's terrible to clean. Yeah, not the best application. Wow, it's getting difficult to remove. And I did it like 15 days ago, and it's already dry and hard. Maybe it's terrible. The thermal paste I use is terrible. Who knows? Yeah. Although if the thermal paste is too liquid, it is also bad because it might dissolve, and disappear. And you don't want that. You want some kind of thickness. The viscosity, I think it's called, should be perfect for that application. If the CPU or the graphic card gets too hot, you want a thermal paste that can handle that and it doesn't dissipate like water. Yeah, now they're clean. Okay, I have to use some kind of tool. Oh, let me see if I see something. This one. Yeah. There is a little thermal paste in between, but whatever. It's not a problem. Let me clean the edges of the video memory chips gently, just a little bit. I need to use more. Yeah, it's very difficult to clean on black chips. Yeah, that kind of material is not meant for thermal paste. Only metallic dye. Yeah, it's bad, terrible. Okay, little bit of between the capacitors of the graphic card. I believe this is the graphics card. It says, yeah, ATI, the old Radeon, AMD, sorry. Radeon is a modern generation. The ATI is the older generation. Yeah, So it only requires two video memory chips. Yeah, it's very simple. It's a low end basic laptop, so that's why I never had any problem with thermals, really. That's what I like about these laptops from 2009. They're not that bad. They're actually good. I might upgrade the RAM to 8 gigs, maybe. I have to check that out. Maybe I will do it. I'm gonna upgrade to 8 gigs. These are 4. Yeah. More thermal tips. I mean, as long as the laptop is working, I need it. There's no need to throw anything to the trash. As long as it's working, I need it. I have like 3 or 4 of them, and I use them all. I have a laptop from 2007, an Acer, and it's working. And I'm using it as well. The newest one is from 2015, and it's working. I use them all. Yeah, they tune out very well, the Acers. Although this generation is good and bad at the same time. I mean, it's terrible at disassembling the laptop, and service is terrible, but then once you remove it, you see it's not that terrible. Yeah, it's actually good. There is a corner that is very difficult to clean. I don't know why. I'm gonna use a thermal pad here on the chipset. I think that was the original design. Yeah, I just hope I'm not covering the side of the camera, but okay. And this, yeah. Yeah, the advantage is now I'm gonna only use thermal paste on the CPU and GPU, and that's it. Okay, let's hope this is clean enough for that. I have to also clean the heat sink. Okay, let me put this here. Okay, yeah, it's messy. Should I use more cotton tips? Yeah, why not? I have hundreds of them. I need a towel is much better for this one, but okay, it's not that dangerous. Hopefully you can see something. Hopefully, because my arm is in between, but I should have put the camera on the other side. I know. Yeah. I don't want to be ultra perfect with this one. It's not the end of the world, but okay. Yeah. Someone told me, oh, you should use a anti-static bracelet, but what's the point? The whole any electronic component, any PCB board is designed to be Faraday cage by its own design. Why are you worried about it? You should worry about the power. For example, if you are manipulating something, you should cut the power. For example, removing the power supply and also the battery, because you can create any short, by accident. But the static is not a problem. The static is gonna derivate and move it to the ground, and it's gonna act as a Faraday cage. There is no issue with that. I think it's a fancy way to show off that you care, but it's not necessary. in reality. It is necessary for other kind of applications like screen manufacturing process, because they're very sensitive to a static while the screen is open, or any component that while they're in the manufacturing process they are very sensitive to the static. So the employees need to use a static bracelet for those kind of operations, but not for a finished product. What's the point? They are Faraday cage. Yeah, you shouldn't worry too much. Just worry about removing the battery and removing the power supply. Yeah, but if you are worried, you can touch a metal bar before, and that's it. It will discharge whatever is inside your body, whatever. But it's not really necessary. Everyone wants to show off and look professional with those bracelets, but they're pointless with this kind of procedures. I think it's clean, but I want to make sure it's perfectly clean, so the conductivity, the thermal conductivity is perfect. Yeah, it's not like the end of the world with the video chips, because I know they're not gonna be on too hot. But okay. Yeah, okay. And okay. And this one, okay. Yeah, this one over here touches the coils. This one is the CPU, I believe. This one a chipset. You can see how small is the square for the graphic card. It's very tiny. Yeah, the ATI is low performance. You can even use it fanless if you wanted to. Yeah, the only issues I had, it was with software, with Windows. It was overheating all the time back in the days, until I started using Linux, of course. Yeah, software is more problematic than whatever is happening here. In reality, you should always create software first, but also hardware. But sometimes you create the hardware and you continue using the same crappy software. You know, what's the point? You should create both, of course, but always take care of the software if you cannot open the laptop for any reason. Okay, this is beyond perfect. Yeah, let's check again the motherboard. I think it's okay, it's more or less clean. Okay, let me think. Yeah, this is okay, but not okay. Yeah, it doesn't have to be perfect. I still see some residue. Maybe I can do tapping. Tapping works for the okay, for the capacitors. Yeah, there are a lot of thermal paste around the capacitors, but okay. Okay, perfect. Now I can see the corner clean. Yeah. Let's dry it. Let's wait for this one to dry. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's it. Let's put this. Okay, how many we should use? Okay. I don't know if this has maybe. I don't know. I believe it has some layers of plastic. You should remove. Yeah, I can see it. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna use only one. Come on, don't be like that. Yeah, let me put only one. Yeah, only one is necessary, so more than enough. Come on. It's not perfect. There. Okay, I should use a tool. There. They're kind of too big, a little bit too big for, but that's okay. Okay, let's remove this. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Let's remove the other one. Okay. Now let's put it on top of the thingy. I think they're okay. Yeah. Now let's put one on top of the chipset. Come on. There. Let's be careful with the plastic covers because they're too. Come on. Let's put it in the center. Okay. And okay, let's do it fast. Yeah, I'm so glad I bought these ones. There are 100 pieces. Yeah, come on. Yeah. Okay, yeah, more or less the size of the coil. More or less. Hopefully I remove the, yeah, the plastic. Always remove the plastics. If you forget, you're gonna create a mess of thermal mess. Yeah, more or less. Okay. Yeah, they're aligned. They're okay. Yeah, whatever. And now let me cover this. Okay. No, I always put this protector cover and make sure it's perfectly close. Okay, let's use GD-2. Hopefully you can see it more or less. Yeah. Yeah, let's go. One thing I want to do is to remove a little bit because it might release a little of water when it's brand new. The tip. Come on. I don't want to make too much pressure just in case. It doesn't move. There. Okay. Come on. Jeez. Okay, this thermal paste is kind of like, yeah, I hear that it's a little bit okay. I'm gonna put like a dot there. I'm gonna put a dot here. Where is that cover? Okay, it's there. Come on. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I'm making a mess, I know, but I don't want to lift it. Okay, I believe that is enough. More or less a dot and a dot, whatever. And let's put it on top right away. I'm not gonna use the palette or anything like that because I think for these tiny squares, there's no need. Okay. Come on. Come on. Okay. More or less, it's aligned. Yeah. Okay. let's use a screwdriver. I think it's a line there. Let's start with one, 2, 3, there, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, let's try again with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, they are perfect. Okay, okay. Let's inspect. I think it's okay. Yeah, perfect. Coils are covered, video memory covered, and yeah, the heatsink is gonna push the thermal paste down, and that's it. You don't need to worry. Yeah, that's it. Unless we are talking about, for example, those big desktop CPUs. I know sometimes it's okay to use the palette and split it, but yeah, I don't think it's, even in those cases, it depends on what thermal paste you use. Well, it depends on the density, but the palette is kind of pointless if you are using the 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 the, the, the heatsink instead, and push it down and move it a little bit, you know, like doing a swiggle movement. It's gonna split, and I don't think there is any point to use the palette. Yeah, it depends on the size of the CPU and whatever reason you have, but yeah, these tiny ones are okay. Yeah, let's assemble the laptop again. All right, let's start assembling the laptop. Now that I finished this, let's put this. Yeah, this is the thing, right? It goes upside down, but then it goes facing up. It's very weird. So yeah, it is weird. That's why it's like a sandwich that you don't have any access to unless you disassemble the whole thing. Yeah, that's why I don't like it. Yeah, yeah, it's terrible, I know. Let's put this here, the USB. Okay, okay, okay. Yeah, it's very terrible. But it's strange because, believe it or not, this is not the worst, but one of the best laptop I've ever had. Just because once it's assembled and it's working with Linux, is amazing. It's just the hardware design. Yeah, let's use the screws. Let me see if I have access to screws. The perfect one, I don't know, might be the same ones. Yeah, I guess this one. Yeah, the one that should be aligned, but is not perfectly aligned for some reason. I think this one is the one for the hard drive. A little too thick, or they are the same, more or less. I don't care. Sorry about the chair noise, but whatever. they decided to make it like that. That this is not making a perfect screwing. It's not. Yeah, this is not aligned for some reason. Yeah, now let me try again. There. Yeah, perfect. Yeah, perfect. Okay, this is the speaker I don't want to use. Yeah, it's fine. Now let me use the frame skeleton. But I want to check something. I want to check something. So here in this point, I was using thermal paste for this chip over here. So let's clean this before continuing. Hopefully it's okay if I put it here. Yeah, let's clean this part. Maybe I'm going to put a thermal pad, but I kind of feel like we're using them, but they're cheap. The price was like 4 euros for 100 pieces. They're okay. Yeah, that's okay. Fine. Let's put one there, only one. Let's check if it's because I can see there is a bump. So I have 1 millimeter extra space there in reality. So that's okay. Let's use it. Always analyze the design language and the space before putting a thermal pad. You might encounter some issues. You might not, but it might result in a possible bending of the motherboard over time. So let's put it there. Yeah. And let's see if I have enough space. Let's hope it's not a problem. Yeah, hopefully it's okay. Let me analyze first, because I need to check to make sure it's not a problem. So this is here. I believe it's not gonna be a problem, but yeah, no, not a big deal. Okay, everything's okay. Okay, let's put this, remove this. Okay. Yeah, and now let's clean also this. I'm not sure if I should put something. I get the feeling the metallic surface of the keyboard is more than enough. But I hate that the ribbon cable is touching the chipsets on top of that chip. I don't know what chip is that. I have to check. But I was checking, I turned on the laptop and I touched the chip and it was very warm. Yeah. That might be the chipset, but I'm not sure about that. It's an Intel AEF 828 011 OM, whatever. Yeah, I never check what chip is that. Maybe it's the sound card. Maybe it's the sound. Yeah, but because I believe the sound card is not even Realtek. It's not. Do I have a gap? Yeah, more or less I have a gap. Maybe. Let me try. Yeah, you know what? That might be a problem with the pressure. Let me see. Ah, it's not. Okay, it's okay. It's perfectly aligned. Okay, let's do it then. Yeah, let's do it. How many I should use? Maybe four. Four is too much. It's not even touching. I think if I use four, it's gonna be a problem. Too many. Okay, let me see how many I should use. Four. Yeah, four is okay, but you know what is I'm overusing right now. Just because it's my laptop and I just want to do an experiment, but in reality, that's unnecessary. That's overdone. Let me know in the comments if that is a bad idea or actually a good idea. Let me know. I want to know your opinion on that. But yeah, maybe I'm literally overdoing things for no reason. These thermal pads they don't feel like ultra cold to the touch. So I'm not sure about the quality of these ones. They had a high rating on AliExpress, but very high rating, and that's a good thing because people were using it for so many applications. Come on, there. Hopefully it's not gonna be a problem with the thickness. Yeah, four of them. You can see there. Okay, let's connect the microphone. I need it. Microphone is on. The speakers, I'm not gonna use them because they're broken. I don't care about the speakers. I will buy a DIY electronic kit, soldering kit that is a Bluetooth speaker for this laptop that I'm gonna connect with the jack instead, because this laptop doesn't have Bluetooth. Yeah, but I saw it on AliExpress and I was thinking that maybe it's a good idea. You can either use the jack or the Bluetooth. Okay, let's try put this in place. Okay. Yeah. Okay. And when I screw the things, I don't torque with a lot of force. I just let the screwdriver guide me and let me know if the screw is good or bad for that hole. Let me try this one. This one looks too big. I don't know. This one is good. Oh, no, there's another one. This is black one. This one is not good. This one goes somewhere else. Let me try this one. And this one is okay-ish. Yeah, that's it. Let's put the keyboard. Okay. There. Perfect. Oh, wait. You see the problem with the design? I forgot to put the screen and the cables of the Wi-Fi. Come on. Always happen the same. I have the same problem. It's not a big deal, but whatever. I put the screen. Yeah. Okay. Just be careful with this cable. I don't want to pinch it. Yeah. This one actually I have to torque it kind of strong. There. And now let's put the cables. Let's put first the screen very carefully. Yeah, they're very delicate. There. Perfect. There. And now this. Okay. Yeah, you can see the problem, right? You can forget and then take extra time. So yeah, I hate it and I love it at the same time. Okay, there, then here, 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 here. Okay, let's put it. It goes through the whole laptop. There. This is, I hate it, but okay. Come on. Come on, there. Okay, there. Let's push it there. Come on. Why are you being a rebel? There. Okay, now we are ready to go. This is connected, and that's it. Yeah. Now we can put the keyboard. There. And let's close it. Hopefully I didn't forget about anything, but let's put the tape back in place. There is a little bit of tape to isolate the motherboard there. Okay, let's put the Wi-Fi card. There. Okay, let's put this. Let's use. Oh, there isn't a screw there. Before doing this, let's put this one. There. There. Okay. Now this is kind of complicated, but the good thing is that it's an older generation and the cables, the connectors are big enough for me to see. So let's try it. Because the new generation ones are very tiny. Yeah. and every time I disconnect them I get scared because okay, it's gonna take a while. Okay, maybe I can use some kind of tweezers, but not that's okay. There, come on, go down, there, and there. Yeah, this is the difficult one. Maybe that depends on my luck. No. Come on. Yeah, I'm doing the difficult way, and I shouldn't do it like this. Let me try to lift it. So to there. Okay, that's it. Okay, let's put the hard drive. I hope it is recording. Yeah, it is recording. Let's put the screw. And let's put the optical drive in. Okay, there. Let's put the cover on. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, let me see. What's going on? Something is not right. Yes, something is not right. I can see it. Let me try to. There. There. Now it's okay. Now I understand why it wasn't really connecting well. Yeah. Oops. Okay. Now I should, yeah, because I didn't push the Wi-Fi all the way in. There. Now it should be okay. Should be okay. Okay. I think I'm losing my voice. I'm not the person that talks a lot. Yeah. I cannot talk for way too long. Maybe I should get used to that. But yeah. Let me put this one here. There. Let's put more. Let me put the cover for the RAM there. Let's put a big one here. Yeah. And where is the tiny one? Oh, I see one here. I think one was missing, so that's okay. Was already missing. Yeah, I don't care too much. Let's put the ones that press the screen, the hinge of the screen first, just in case. This one. I think there is another one that is too super long, and that one was designed for the screen. And that one a few millimeters longer than the rest. Yeah, this one is not here. Doesn't go here. This one goes here. I really don't remember the order. I don't remember if they were on the other side of the hinge or on the side. I don't remember. It doesn't really matter. It's not the end of the world, but okay, whatever. Yes. Okay. Wow. Okay. There. Let's put this one here. Let's put more screws. Yeah. Yeah, as you can see, I'm not tighten the screws too hard. I just let the screw let me know when it is done, and that's it. Because if I'm gonna assemble and disassemble many times, you better make sure you don't tighten the screws too hard, because otherwise after a few disassembles you are gonna destroy the holes, the plastic. Yeah, you want to make sure they last forever. These are like almost 20 years old, well, more or less 15 years old. So yeah, they are still in good condition. I think everything. Oh, there's one left. Let me see. Yeah, all of them are okay. I know there was one missing. This one is missing. This one is broken. Whatever. That's it. That's why it's important to be careful. This one has a bad design. That's what it broke. Let's put the battery. Let's test it. Let's test the laptop and see what happens. And yes, you guessed it right. I forgot to connect the fan. How about that? So this is my second attempt after assembling the whole thing. Yeah, this is the problem. Design flaw. If you forget to connect the fan, you have to disassemble the whole laptop again completely and remove the whole motherboard out of the laptop just to connect the freaking fan. Yeah, you guessed it right. I forgot. Okay, how is the new thermal paste? The idle temperature is around 35. It's higher. This is a big surprise. I don't know why. Yeah, so far is a little higher. I don't know if that has something to do maybe with room temperature, but yeah, it's not like a huge difference, but I think it's almost 5 or 6 degrees more, depending. So yeah, that is the idle time. Okay, after stress testing for more than a minute, the temperature is around, let's see now. Yeah, 51, 53. I think it's more or less the same as before. What matters is that um, while the CPU is being used to 100% or is performing to 100%, what matters is this. And this is more or less the same, maybe a few degrees more. Yeah, I'm not sure. I think maybe the GD-2 specs aren't really 100% accurate, or perhaps I did like a terrible thermal paste application. So yeah, this is just to document what I did. Another thing is maybe I put too little, or I put a little of extra water, because the first drop of thermal paste coming out of the syringe, you should remove it, because it basically is water, the first drop, always. I'm not sure. It's not going higher though. It's not going higher, so that's a good thing. It's stable, more or less. So yeah, let's see. Another thing is that sometimes the new thermal paste, some of them requires a few days of use, and then the temperature will eventually drop, you know. After brand new might be a problem, I don't know, but yeah, it is what it is. Yeah, that's it. Okay, this is what I was suspecting. After half an hour, I can see the temperature dropping higher. uh, Now it's around 31. If you remember the first time we tuned on after replacing the thermal paste was like 5 or 6 degrees higher than before with the older uh, with the old thermal paste. Now after letting the new thermal paste settling, you know, now is okay. You can see that's what I was suspecting, that you need to let the new thermal paste at least half an hour or a few days if you don't use the laptop that much, but you have to let it like curate, you know. So yeah, now it's better. There's an improvement. My guess is maybe it contained a little of water when I put it, and now the water is gone. That's my guess. So yeah, 30 degrees, the same as before. So yeah, I guess that was the issue. When you put a new brand new thermal paste, maybe it needs a little bit time to settle down onto the new uh, um, yeah, it's not the same when it's is inside the container, the syringe. Then you apply it. It needs like a little of air and dry time. Then when it's fully dry, or it dissipates the water that the thermal paste has, it needs like that time for the thermal paste to start running perfectly fine. Yep, that makes sense. Now it's 30 degrees. So it wouldn't be any surprise if it actually drops a little more, maybe 29. Yeah, who knows? Let's see about it. It's very stable. Yeah, very, very stable. Now, I like it. This is the idle, yeah, the idle temperature. Idle, I mean, when I don't have anything open, just the terminal. That's what I call um, idle. Yeah. Now the fan is fully off. That is weird. That is rare that happens. It means that the thermal paste is doing what is meant to be, you know, what is supposed to do is basically dissipating at high, yeah, yeah, the high efficiency thermal conductivity is working. Yeah, the fan is fully off right now. That never happened before, I think, with the old thermal paste, but now it's fully off. That's it. After more than half an hour. Wow, that's impressive. That's very impressive. Yeah, that never happened before, I think. Not bad. It should turn on immediately, obviously. Now it's going higher again because it's fully off, obviously. But yeah, as you can see, for the GD-2, you have to let it settle for a while, half an hour or a few days, depending on how long you are planning using the laptop or any computer. But yeah, just let it settle.